Yo, what's going on, guys? In today's video, I'm going to cover some secret tech for Morty, as well as some tips and tricks for the character. Now, I posted a video the other day about how Morty might need a small buff, but also just how his playstyle is not for everyone. So I'm going to cover tips and tricks for beginners, but also for experts. I guarantee if you're a Morty expert, there's going to be one piece of information on this list that you did not know about. So be sure to watch till the end because Morty's kit is very complicated. There are a lot of interactions that are just simply not stated, and you have to learn about them, and it's going to help you unlock the full potential. Like I said, if you're an expert, if you're the #1 Morty in 1v1s, I hope they watch this video and tell me that I told them something they didn't know about, unless they're just that gigabrain. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video. Alrighty, now I just have a good list of maybe 10 or so tips and tricks. Some of them are just, general tips for how to use some of his moves, and then some of them are secret hidden mechanics and interactions. I'm also going to show how to use the whip. I'm going to do that first. That's really for new Morty players. Obviously, a seasoned Morty player knows how to use the whip. However, if you're a beginner, you probably don't know how to use the whip that it mentions here with the neutral attack, how you can combo it into the whip attack. And it's very simple. You actually have to combo it out of your side attack. So the whip is going to be forward punch, neutral button. And that's how you activate the whip. It can only be used after 2 forward punches. That's the beginner one. Now let's talk about Morty's grenades. So Morty's grenades, you notice you have to set them up. Notice how I threw it at Shaggy and it didn't hurt him. And basically, these seem like setup trap tools. They don't have an active hitbox, right? Well, it turns out if you punch the grenade, that gives it an active hitbox. You notice sometimes grenades knock back enemies before you explode them, and it's actually because you've been punching them and you just didn't realize it. And like I said, if I throw one straight at him, it's not going to do anything. So you got to punch it to get that active hitbox. Now, another tip about the grenade is obviously when you set one up and you shoot it, it has that little projectile that went after him, right? Well, a little hidden tidbit is, I think this is a bug, but it always that projectile will always knock Shaggy to the left. Notice how he's going to get knocked to the left? And if I go to the other side of him, it's still going to knock him to the left. For example, if you were trying to edge guard with a grenade projectile on the right side, it's going to knock him to the left. So it's a little tidbit that's really good to know. Always use this perk on Morty. What this perk does is it increases your explosion radius. So let me show you what I'm talking about. You notice if you throw a grenade and you basically let it explode, and you basically explode it, look how small that explosion radius is. However, if I equip this perk, what happens is, based on the cook timer, so you actually have to let this run out of time and explode by itself, and I'm going to show you guys how to use that. Look how much larger that explosion radius is. So obviously, you're going to want to combo this with the side special, and this just creates a giant radius where I've gone to set this up and people have started comboing me, and it just interrupts everything in this area. It's very, very useful. You should be splitting your grenades as much as possible. And even notice, after I split, I punch the second grenade towards her so they both go in that direction. This is definitely, like, Morty's bread and butter, in my opinion. You have to be using this because it's such a combo starter. I mean, it just stuns the enemy, you know what I mean? And then you can kind of go in, and it helps you enter. And it also just takes up a bunch of space, especially in 2s, it's very useful. And yeah, so definitely use this perk. I mean, the hammer perk is great. Like, spinning in a big circle is really fun. But if we're talking the most optimal, it's going to be this one. All right, another cool tip with nades is you should know that the more nades you have out, the more damage you will do when shooting them. And let me show you what I'm talking about. And this is actually means it's optimal to shoot grenades that you split. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If we just throw a grenade at Shaggy and shoot it, you can see that grenade explosions do 5 damage. Now, if I throw a grenade at Shaggy, I have a grenade over here. Suddenly, that does 10 damage. So the grenades actually transfer their damage to each other. By the way, quick shout out to Chackaldane. I know I butchered your name, but he's the one who figured this out. And what that means is if you throw a grenade and split it, shooting it is the most optimal because you'll see that that did 10 versus if I just split the grenade and let the one on the right hit him, it only does 5. So technically, make sure you're shooting your grenades because it's gonna do more damage. And of course, this has more uses. Like, what if we do something like this? That did 38 damage, so... Next thing I want to show you guys is the Plumbus. Now, the Plumbus seems to just pretty much have armor break. And let me show you guys what I'm talking about. So let's activate Wonder Woman's armor. Now, you guys know you can charge the Plumbus, but I'm just going to tap it just to show you guys that this thing basically has armor break. I tap it, and you notice she gets hit. It doesn't break the armor, it hits and damages her and weakens her. So I think it's that the Plumbus is technically hitting multiple times or something like that. But this Plumbus basically just has armor break. Now, the Plumbus does have a weird hitbox. Hopefully with the hitbox update next week, they make this move a little bit better. Like, tapping Plumbus has one of the weird, like, see how it's not hitting her sometimes? So hopefully they update this move and make it a little bit better. And when that happens, this tip will be more relevant. Okay, another quick tip. Let's say, because, you know, Morty doesn't have a lot of attacks. Let's say you're spamming your side air and you get attack decay. One way you can get rid of attack decay on Morty is just do this. And all of a sudden, your other moves are good again. Another side air, you know, let's get that attack decay. All right, let me get rid of my attack decay real quick. Just spam her with this, and all of a sudden, we don't have attack decay anymore. So that's a quick tip. Speaking of the uncharged gun, did you guys know... Okay, so a lot of people have seen in my last video, I complained how Morty is just a worse Tom and Jerry. However, a little balancing thing, and I'm actually pretty happy about this, is that Morty has the easiest Jerry kill in the game. Look at this. You can just straight up kill Jerry with 3 gunshots. You gotta be kidding me. That is the easiest Jerry kill in the game. It has to be. It simply has to be. Like, look how quick you can do that, and Jerry is dead. That is pretty insane. Now, speaking of killing things like Jerry, you can actually destroy bug safe with the snakes. Now, keep in mind, you have to be at about the perfect distance for this to actually one-shot the safe. And look at that. So that's a pretty cool tip. Like I said, you have to be at the right distance for the snakes. Let me show you the wrong distance. See how the snakes come out around here? That's the wrong distance. But if you're about here, I believe, you'll see that the snakes will destroy the safe in one shot, which is pretty nice. All right, for this next tip, we're going to be talking about Morty's down special, which activates the tether. Now, what this does is it puts you on a tether, and wherever you are when it activates, it leaves a grenade there. So at the beginning of matches, really just use this a lot because it's good to stack up that healing. Later on in the match, in 2v2s, because this actually saves your teammate. For those of you who don't know, although you should know that, once your teammate gets to about 90 to 100 plus, save this until you see that they are getting comboed or about to die or something. You really want to have this saved up in 2v2s. However, we have an awesome tip in 1v1s, and that is to activate and use this tether instantly. So this is going to do 2 things. Number 1, your opponent isn't going to expect this, and when they try to combo you, you're going to be invulnerable, and it's basically going to reverse them. Number 2, watch what it does with the grenade above his head. It shoots it up, and it creates an active hitbox above you. Now, you guys might just look at this at face value and be like, oh, you didn't really do that much. However, I'm going to show you guys a clip that somebody got using this strategy, and let's go ahead and just show it right here. Now look, he actually used 2 grenades, and look how he created a wall above him. This creates a full-on active hitbox above you, and like, come on guys, that's useful. That's useful. That's a really cool trick right there. And that's my tip for this one. Alrighty, and the last tip for this video is going to be perk specific, and that is using projectile speed. Now, there's 2 ways you can get projectile speed on Morty. Number 1 is make it rain dog. Your team receives 20% increased projectile speed. And what's interesting about projectile speed is, let's go ahead and just show you equipped versus unequipped. So unequipped, that's how far my projectile goes. That's how far the snake goes. With projectile speed, you actually also get more range. Okay, that was a really bad example. All right, notice how we can't hit him. Let's do our other projectile perk, which is this. And all of a sudden, we're able to hit him. So notice how much further that goes. And you can see our air side special. The portal Morty exits from will remain, increasing speed of projectiles. So this activates a portal that gives you more projectile speed. And notice we can't hit him anymore once the portal goes down. But Make It Rain Dog also gives you projectile speed. Now, one interesting thing is this also increases your up air projectile distance. So notice if I unequip it, it goes just above this second line. But if I re-equip it, the up air is going to go a lot further. So projectile speed also increases projectile distance. And then one quick thing about the portal is make sure you are proactively activating this from across the map. These uncharged attacks still do damage. Like, look how much damage I'm just racking up on him. In 2s or something, if you literally just go spam your enemy from across the map with that portal, it's pretty powerful for racking up damage. I mean, that's not a useless thing. If you're fighting an enemy and you're zoning them out all game with your grenades, with your grounded side special, which, by the way, is a projectile, and it is a zoner tool. Like, notice I'm not even letting Tom run back to his spot. At some point, your enemy will get frustrated and just stand there, at which point you activate the portal and you just start spamming them from across the map. It'll literally piss them off, and it's honestly a good tip for racking up damage. So that is my tips and trick video for Morty, as well as some hidden interactions. Like, I think the biggest one on this list is that grenades actually get an active hitbox after you hit the grenade, which I didn't know about until I think the other day I discovered it while playing. I was like, wait a second, when does my grenade get an active hitbox? And I noticed it was after I hit it. So then I went to the lab and tested. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you're an expert Morty, comment down below if I didn't teach you anything. Because like I said, I guaranteed that there was something in this list for everyone from beginner to expert. So expert. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more Multiversus videos. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out.